Just put this in perspective for a minute. I speak on average about 120 words per minute when I speak on the Senate floor. I don't know whether that's something to be proud of or not. I don't know how that stacks up to others, but that's the rate at which I typically speak on the Senate floor. At that pace, it would take me 5 straight days. And by days, I don't mean 8-hour work days or 10 or 12-hour work days. I mean 24-hour work days. 5 straight 24-hour periods consecutively, back to back, without so much as a bathroom break. And certainly no opportunity for sleeping. Nothing other than reading. It would take 5 straight consecutive days of continuous reading at that pace in order to get through this. The Bible is a long book. It's 1,200 pages long.
A little bit to Ed's question, though, this push from the podium to get Republicans to send more resources to the border, a lot of them say that, they hesitate to throw more money at a problem. The Homeland Security Secretary saying that the border is secure, and some of the people who'd have to vote on that bill also don't have a lot of details on, what's in it and where that money goes. But all that aside,
Senator Schumer agreed to last week would be to eliminate all the earmarks. And I've got my own prop here. So that's the entire omnibus. This is the language on earmarks only. There are, let me get the exact numbers, $9.8 billion worth of earmarks. Thousands of individual projects here. Both Democrat and Republican. It's interesting to note on the Republican side, we actually have a conference resolution that we don't support earmarks. Well, we're supporting over $4 billion worth. Democrats are getting $5.4 billion worth of earmarks.
You're asking for $3.2 billion roughly from Congress to help pay for all these new or ongoing plans across the border. Let's say that money comes in the omnibus this week. What's the plan after that to work with Congress to address this issue?
Like beyond? Look, we have, Ed, we have from day one have asked Congress to help us with this issue, right? By putting forward the immigration reform bill. That's on day one that the president had requested that, had asked that. That's to deal with modernizing the immigration, this broken immigration system that we currently have, and also to really protect our DACA recipients and do so much more. And so we have reached out. We've done outreach to Congress. We have asked them, and by acting, again, putting forth this piece of legislation.
It's resulted in virtually no change in immigration policy with Democrats in charge. How's it going to get any easier when Republicans are in charge?
Look. Again, we've asked for the $3.5 billion. We're going to continue to ask Congress to assist in helping with, especially congressional Republicans, to help us with what's going at the border if they are indeed serious about doing that.
Brought with me the Omni, 4,155 pages. When was it produced? In the dead of the night, 1:30 in the morning when it was released. Now, people argue that it's conservatives' fault. You don't have the Christmas spirit. Somehow you're holding up government. Well, whose job is it to produce this? The people in charge of spending. The people in charge of both of the parties. When did they know that this would be necessary? Well, it's in the law, September 30th. You got 9 months, almost 10 months, to produce a plan, to have a spending plan. They weren't ready on September 30th. So they voted themselves 90 more days. They weren't ready last week either, so they voted themselves another week. And now we have it at 1:30 in the morning this morning. But what's the clamor? The clamor is to vote. Vote now. Let's get it done. Why are you standing in the way of spending?
How is it a functional process to drop a 4,100-page bill this morning, expect to vote on it tomorrow? Well, most of Congress hasn't had a chance to review this.
Look, the bill has been carefully worked on by the Appropriations Committee for a very, very long time. Most of the provisions of the bill were well known weeks and weeks and weeks in advance. And getting this bill done for the American people, which really matters, is the most important thing.
And the president tasked the vice president with studying and working on the root causes of some of these issues. I'm wondering if there's any update from this side of with the White House on what she's been doing and what she will continue to do as we're expecting an influx at the border after Wednesday.
As you know, the president appreciates the partnership that he has with the vice president. You're right, that has been her charge to work in a diplomatic way in finding the root causes. I don't have anything to lay out specifically on what that work looks like, but again, we appreciate her partnership, and I would probably refer you to her office on anything specific.
El Paso's Democratic mayor has declared a state of emergency, and he said that he would only do that when he felt he could no longer keep his community or the asylum seekers safe. He's saying that that time is now ahead of Title 42 expiring. What is the White House response to that?
So look, we have, from day one, President Biden has taken steps to reduce disorderly migration while expanding legal pathways for orderly migration. We are in constant communication with the mayor of El Paso. We're surging resources to the border. We're going to continue to do the work that is needed. We're going to ask for the additional funding, the $3.5 billion additional funding requests from Congress. Again, we're going to continue to ask for additional funding from Congress to assist us in dealing with this.
You know, there's video that was just released by one Republican member of Congress to show that it's really not making a difference. There was one border patrol facility on Friday. He says there are 4,600 migrants in that facility. Its capacity is 1,040, and we're still, you know, Title 42 is still in place with. They're at 4 times their capacity right now. So is the view that this is working, that those resources are working, that you guys have said are from the work of this president, is that sufficient? Is it working?
I mean, we're asking for $3.5 billion in additional funding to help us, right, with the challenges that we're seeing. So if congressional Republicans are serious about this, serious about dealing with the challenges that we're currently seeing, then they would assist. We're asking for additional funding. We are surging resources. But if they truly, truly want to assist, instead of doing political ploys like they have been for the past several months.
If you're saying that Republicans aren't doing the work to get this done, and then you have someone like Joe Manchin saying, well, the president has the ability to ask for an extension, he should be asking for an extension because we're at this point where you've got a deadline and a crisis. Is that within the president's authority to do that?
So look, we remained under a court order to lift Title 42. That is a court order. That is a court order that is telling us to lift Title 42, and we're going to comply because we follow the rule of law.
But the administration sought to lift it.
But it is a court order.
But
that
started by you guys.
It was a court order that has been provided to us, and so now we have to comply, and that is we have to comply by December 21st. It is a law that has been put forth.
Don't support lifting
What
Title
I'm saying
42?
is that it is a court order that has been presented to us that we are going to comply with. So you've asked a couple of questions, and I'm going to answer them if you give them out. Happy to do them again. You scale up. We want to scale up air and ground transportation capabilities to move migrants to processing to less crowded border patrol set up an additional CBP holding facilities and speed up the processing time so individuals can have their asylum claims heard faster. Secure the border, 23,000, that is historic. We've not seen that before. And again, that is because of the work that this president has done. The $3.5 billion, there is a plan for it. There is a way forward. But what we have been hearing from Republicans and seeing from Republicans in Congress is political ploys. They're not assisting. They're not offering any assistance. Many of them are not. And so we are asking right now, if they are serious about this, they are serious about dealing with the challenges, then they would adhere to our funding request.